Okay, well, I'll go ahead and get started. My name is Chiu-Ki Chen, and me and Huan had a YouTube channel called Android Dialogues, where we usually interview people about Android. But this time I'm going to try something different. Well, clearly I'm live streaming right now. The reason why I'm doing it is because during Google I/O there was a lot of collabs that was announced, and I want to try some of them. And I figured if I live stream while I code, then other people can chime in and we can try this together. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. And if you are watching, it'll be fun if you can go to the chat and say hi, just because then I don't feel as silly talking to nobody in particular. So great. Oh, actually, I see people saying hi already. Yay. I see. That's Justin. Hi, Justin. And not sure how to pronounce that. Pine? Okay. Cool. I'm very happy that there are people watching. Yay. Alright, so today the collab that I'll be doing is Android Wear complications. So I've loaded the browser here, the collab itself, and I think I should probably explain what is a complication first because it's not very clear. So I'll scroll down a little bit here. So here there is a watch, and you can see that there are three circles, one showing steps, one showing an icon of someone bicycling, and one showing the number of emails you have. So those little circles are complications. So in the watchmaking, complications are anything that is not telling time. So in this case, those are the different information that the complications are showing. So Android Wear 2.0 is introducing that feature. So right now it's not available yet unless you have the M preview. But they already have this collab so that developers can get ready for it. So, oh, hi Jose. Cool, I like saying hi to people, it makes me happy. Right, so I have already loaded the collab from GitHub into Android Studio, so let's jump there. Which right now I'm not really doing anything except I have done the Git clone and then imported it. I also already have my emulator going because, as you probably know, it takes a while to get the emulator started, so I already have that all going. Just to note, I actually tried to do this on my Ubuntu, on my Linux box, which is my main development machine, but the emulator was not working there, so I switched to my Mac, which is my little laptop. So right now the machine is whirring like mad because I think it's a little bit straining for it to do video. So hopefully things are still okay. It's not stuttering or anything like that. Cool. So I have everything set up, and now let's switch back to the browser and see what we should be doing. Right. So I'm going to scroll down, and so this is what I explained, what is complications, and then it explains a little bit of the architecture. Probably makes more sense for you to read that later. Hopefully also we'll cover some of the concepts during the collab itself. Alright, so clone the starter project repo, which I did already. Import the project, which I also did. And then let's see what's the next step. Understand the starter project. So it seems that there is a complication watch face service, which, let's see, is a watch face we will extend to support true complications. Cool. And then next is watch face config activity. So there's an activity which allows you to select different data to display in the complication. Emulator setup, I've done that. Run, yay, okay, finally get to the point. Let's run it on a watch. So we already have the emulator going, and next we will need to select the one base configuration from the drop down. Alright, let's see. Need to do something with the configuration itself and choose do not launch activity. Okay, let's do that. So I hope the font is big enough for you to see. I tried to increase the main font, but then I couldn't change the spacing, so it looks really cramped. So let me know. I could also bump up the font if it's difficult to see. Right, so I need to change the launch to do not launch the activity. Okay, and then I can click run. And then we'll just be patient and wait for it to load. Well, while we are waiting for that, I'm going to scroll down and see what I need to do next. All right. All right, it's still busy. You can see this bar that's still moving. The reason why I'm checking is because it's not going to be launching any activities. I wouldn't know whether this has deployed, so I actually have to keep an eye on Android Studio to make sure I know that it has launched. Yeah, things are slow. Well, I guess time to look at the chat. Justin said, excited for the tile provider service. Oh, not sure what you mean by tile provider service. Well, maybe I'll get to that in the collab itself. Yeah. Okay, I guess that's the problem with live coding, is that things take time. And this is my first time streaming, so I don't know how to set up music or any other fancy entertainment that I could be doing right now while we impatiently wait for the emulator. I guess I can bring a dialogue so we can see what it's doing. Or not. That's still nothing. Yeah, I actually tried a little bit before right now to make sure that things can deploy, just because you never know. And I managed to deploy this once already, so I'm not sure why it takes so long. Also, the fact that my Android Wear time is not updated is not very exciting. Oh, hi Calvin. So let's see, let's take a look at the ADB devices just to make sure that we actually have a device. Okay, we do have a device. Gradle console. I'm just looking for things to do so that I can understand what's happening. Not quite sure what's going on right now. It just keeps trying to deploy. Hi Danielle. I guess Daniel will be how I pronounce that. Alright, I'm so sorry that it's taking so long. I'm very tempted to cut it, but I'm not sure if that will help or not. Let's see if the Gradle console has anything interesting to say. Well, yeah. I usually, when I give talks, I try to avoid live demo because things will go wrong, and things are not really going wrong, but it just takes 3 minutes and 27 seconds to deploy. Oh, okay, cool! Yay! Finally! So, I don't know if you saw that, it flashed on the emulator and said that it has been deployed, we could use this watch face. Cool, let's switch back to the instructions. And it says, once the deploy has happened, swipe left on your emulator to pick the watch face. So I'm going to swipe left. Okay, add more favorites. All right, let's do that. And then select Complications Collab, which is this one. It's dark right now. Not sure what that means. Alright, let's try that again. Yay! Okay, cool. Now we can see the complication, not the complication, the watch face, just like in the instructions. Great! Whew! Step 1 done. Finally. I hope the deploy is not going to take that long every single time because, yeah, that's pretty frustrating. All right, great. Now we are going to keep going. Oh, I see. I guess that was the ambient mode when it was dark. Probably. That was not very reassuring. All right, next step. Let's start exposing some data. Step 2. Open complication watch face service and search for to-dos. Step 2, intro 1. Alright, and I should see something like that, like left dial complication, yada yada. Let's do that. Complication watch face service. So, complication watch face service. So many of them. I guess I should choose the base one. Alright. Okay, it's just the ones on top, the left dial complication. The to-do, step 2, intro 1. Now back to instructions. We'll be creating 2 complications, left and right dial. The complications API requires that you create a unit ID. We'll put those IDs together in an array for the API to use, along with a matching array for the type of data that each complication supports. So they're talking about the ID and the types here, the 2 arrays. To keep things simple, each complication will only support short text. There are many other types that probably we can learn later. So now, step 2, intro 2, we should see something like that, some paints and sparse array. Okay. And then to properly place each complication, we need the X and Y coordinates. The width of the text may change each moment based on the context. The height will not change. So we're going to stash away that as a local variable and only recalculate it on when we have, on surface changed. And then the sparse array is to keep track of the complication IDs. Okay, so now step 2, intro 3, we are going to be at the onCreate function, which has 2 functions as initialize complications and initialize hands. Oh, and also initialize background, but that one was above the to-do. Oh, hello, live coding TV support. That's interesting. Oh, in case you're wondering, I'm actually streaming to 3 things at the same time, which is YouTube and Twitch and live coding, because I don't do things halfway, I guess. So it's kind of interesting. I'm monitoring all 3 chat rooms. Cool. Alright, so we created the background and the watch face hands via their own methods in onCreate. Now we need to finish with initialize complications, which is empty right now. So we'll go to that function, jump right in, and then paste in this code. Well, okay, we'll copy this from the browser, and then we'll go to Android Studio and find that init function, initialize complications. Aha, alright, so I'm going to paste that in. Cool. Okay, let me just close these so that we have more space to see what's happening. Gradle console go away as well. Great. Okay, back to the instructions. Now let's see what's going on. Okay, I just realized that my Twitch chat has lost connection, so I'm going to try to relaunch that. So give me a little bit of time. And someone asked me, how do I know about livecoding.tv? When I announced that I was going to do this on Twitch and YouTube, someone was like, why not livecoding.tv? So fortunately, Restream.io supports it, so it's not too much work to have an extra thing. Otherwise, I don't think well, this is my very first time doing live streaming, so I don't even know how things work in general. So I'm happy that people are actually watching, and I assume everything's going well. I assume you can hear me, you can see things. because nobody complained in the chat. So anyway, I need to pop out this chat. Which I don't want it to go here. Yay, Anita says she can hear me. Great, thank you. I like positive reinforcement because it feels very silly if I'm just talking to my room and nobody can hear me. Cool, alright, so I have relaunched the Twitch chat. Hopefully that works. Probably shouldn't spend too much time on technical difficulties like that because people can watch it later on, I think it's recorded and you can watch it later. We'll find out. Alright, so now it says, the thing that I pasted in says the last line is the important one. So let me scroll up and see the last line. Set active complication method tells Android Wear that your watch face supports complications and it requires that you pass the unique IDs for each complication. So these are the array that we defined earlier. Okay, the live coding TV people want me to get a channel description. I'm barely learning how to live stream, so let's take care of that later. And continue with the collab. Oh yeah, I need to ask, what is Android Wear all about? So Android Wear is the Android watch, the smartwatch, which of course, silly me, I took it off when I went to cook lunch and then I don't have it on me, otherwise I can show you. So essentially it's the OS that runs on your smartwatch that is based on Android. So this is one of the new feature that allows you to have complications. So it's built on top of what they launched, I think 2 years ago. So, alright, so let's see. I'm not very good at watching the chat and and also coding, so let me know if I'm talking too much about other things right now. Cool, alright, I get distracted. Now what do I do? So, it is important to note a complication on Android Wear. It's just space on the screen. The information is separate and provided by the complication data provider, not you. So I think what it means is that if I have a watch face and I have little complications, it's basically little windows that somebody else can give me data to display. So I don't need to provide the data. So for example, probably Google Fit will provide a step count. Alright, now, next, override the on complication data update to receive complication data. Scroll. The method on complication data update is called when there's an update. Okay, so it different reasons why it can be called. So let's override the method. Yes, I like it when I'm actually doing something with my code. So I'm going to copy and paste this code in the on complication data update. On complication data update. Oh, okay. I also need to copy the actual function name as well. I thought I just need to copy the body. So let's go back to the browser and copy the whole thing. Right. Let's put it right here. Cool. Now let's see what I need to do next. So we need to make sure that we track things inside the sparse array, so which is what this line is doing, this put line. We also want to invalidate the screen to let the watch face know that it needs to call on draw again. So let's just take a look at where is here, just right here we are invalidating. Cool. Handling ambient mode. Great. We are going to search for step 2 ambient and uncomment the line below. It should look like this. That means I don't need to copy. Let's see if it's true. And search for step 2 ambient. Great, indeed it is like that. So uncomment. Cool. Calculate complications Y value. Final step. We'll search for the calculation and uncomment. So let's just actually read and see what it's doing. So it's getting the height divided by half, and then also getting how big the text that you're going to draw the complication with, and also divide by half, and then add them together. And that's where it's going to put the complication. Okay, so step 2, calculating, is the thing that I will be looking for. Great. Uncomment. Alright, now we are going to run the watch phase again, which means that I'll be chatting with you because it's going to take a long time. Alright, we'll click run. And this is happily running. So what I'm going to do actually is going to switch back to the instructions and make the browser slightly smaller so I can see the bar in the bottom. Actually, I'm not streaming that part out. Whoops, so I don't know why you can't see the bar. Nah, doesn't matter. Alright, I'm trying to be too fancy. Now I make things worse. Cool, alright, so let's see. Right now, nothing's happening. I'm going to just read on. So I said that while we now accept complication data, we're not doing anything with it, so we won't actually see anything different, but it say that we should run it anyway, just to make sure things are compiling. So at least now, because we were selecting that watch phase, I can see that it's gone when the reinstalling is happening. So that's good. Summary. Okay, so we have override the different function, in particular the on complication data update so that we can receive data, and then we calculated the coordinates so that we know where to put it. So I'm going to go ahead and read the next steps while we deploy. Okay, I think we're done deploying actually, so that's excellent, even though I think that means I have to redo all the steps. Wait, what happened here? Complications collab now looks like that. Ah, okay. Cool, now it's back. Great. Now let's go to step 3. Daniel said I had one of those watches. Which watches? And then he asked, what type of app am I building? So we're building a watch phase. Actually, this is a very good question. Let me show you why I want to learn this complications business. So I actually have a watch phase called FitCat. And what it does is it takes the number of steps you take per day provided by Google Fit, and then depending on how many steps you have taken, the cat is going to be doing different things. URL. Somebody wants a URL. Let me paste URL into the chat. So if you click on that, that will get you to the Google Play, and then you can download it if you want. So like I said, it uses the Google Fit API to retrieve the number of steps you've taken that day, and the cat will do something different. So you can see it on this screenshot on the left and on the right. There are two different things, which I just hard code that in because they just launched the complications API. So what I want to do is change these two into complications so that the user can choose whether they want to show the date or battery, or they want to show something different. That way, because I actually got a feature request of like removing them so that the cat looks more clean, but I didn't have time to do that yet. So I thought this is a great time. So Daniel wants to get the URL for the other one with steps. Not sure what you're talking about. So sorry, you need to tell me exactly what you need. Maybe if I show it again, you can tell me what you mean. All right, back to the tutorial. Step 3, allow users to choose a complication data provider. So we are going to have the watch phase config activity to do that, which is not complete yet, so we're going to fill that in. To simplify things, we'll only list our complications instead of complications and watch hand styles and background images and etc. Okay, in the wearable list view. So wearable list view is a list view that you can show on the watch. Let's jump in and add the missing code to our activity. And if we are confused, we could just jump to this particular, I guess, checkpoint. So let's do the copy and paste. Hopefully it's going to work. Introduction to our custom class. So now we need to open watch face config activity and search for step 3 intro, which will take us to the inner class. No pasting in this step, just explanation. So I'm not going to switch to Android Studio because it's a lot of complication, lots of clicks for me to switch between the browser and Android Studio. So we're going to just read here. Basically, it looks like it's storing different data inside its fields. So it's, don't worry if you're not familiar with creating lists. All the code is there to take care of everything, and then you can learn more if you click on creating list. The main part to know is this inner class represents each item in our list. So we can get back the selected complication ID. Okay, so we need to do two things: populate the list with our data and call the helper method. So now we are going to search for get complication items, and we are going to replace the body with this text. Whoa, my font is too big. I can barely fit it on the screen. Alright, copy this, go back to Android Studio, and I need to open up the watch face config activity, which is this one. And I will search for step 3. Right here, get complication item. So put it in here. Great. What next? We are creating a list from the constants. Let's see, what are they talking about? Here, this constant, I think. Not sure if it's this constant or this constant. Let's take a look. IDs and the data, so both of them. And then pointing it to some resources for them to use, which is here. Cool. All right, next. Calling helper method on click. So we want to call the helper method when a user chooses the complication they want to change. This create provider chooser intent will return an intent that allows the user to select a provider for the complication chosen. Okay. Please note, you must use start activity for result. So that it can return it to us, I guess. Let's do that now. We are going to add this start activity for result code. Okay. It's right here on top. Okay, I think I copied too many parens, and it's not happy with that, so the import. Okay, good. With the import, it's happy now. Back to the browser. Alright, we are done. Let's see how it looks. Install, swipe, and choose. Okay, so we have to install first. Install. Okay. Hopefully this time's not going to take 3 minutes, we'll see. Okay. Yeah, okay, let me switch back to the Android Studio so you can also watch the... Oh, okay, they did something already. As I was just going to complain about how slow it is. Oh, Gradle build finished. Awesome. Let's take a look. Install your service, swipe and choose the gear icon. So I guess we'll need to repeat what I was doing earlier, which is do this, choose the complication collab, and click on it again, and then swipe. No, that doesn't work. Here. I swipe and then there's a little gear. Okay. Let me scroll down on the instructions. I should see that. Indeed, I see that. Oh, hi, Wamko. Not sure how to pronounce your name. Sorry. And then I have the left dial and right dial, and choose either complication, and should bring up all the data providers that are available. So let's choose the right dial. Hello. Okay. Oh, I clicked. Okay, I need to be patient. Just click once. All right, let's try this again. Here. All right. No, that didn't work. This whole swipe left, swipe, and then swipe it back right thing is very confusing to me. Alright, so try again. So I'm going to click on the right dial and just wait a little bit. Okay, and wait a little bit more. Okay, let's try this again. Click. Yes! Alright, so I have exactly the same thing as the tutorial now. It says empty means we don't want any complication. It should come with 5 items already from Android Wear. Tap Android Wear and I should see something like this. Indeed. So next, while the first watch face will not look any different, I should see the log data showing. Okay. So I think it means I should choose one of these things. I'm going to choose date. Choose date. Okay, so yeah, indeed the watch face looks just the same. I should see the log data showing the complication update method was called. Okay, let's switch back to Android Studio and verify that. That means I need to look at the logs. Indeed, it says on complication update ID 1. Perfect. Let's see. Okay. Summary. Yay! We have added the chooser intent so that you can pick the data provider. Now we're actually going to put this on the watch face. Yay, I'm excited. Okay, cool. So we need to see it on the screen. So how do you render that? We'll need to open the complication watch face service and go to step 4, draw complications, which is empty right now. So we need to copy and paste this thing in. Wow, so long. Okay, let's make sure I can copy and paste everything. Okay. The service. I need to draw. Okay. Now I'm confused. Where do I want to paste this again? Draw complications. Okay, that makes sense. Draw complications. Great. Excellent. Paste that all in. Some red stuff here. Okay, let's see. Can I import that? Yay! So I import the complication text, and then text util is still not happy, so we will import that as well. And that should be it. Let's see. What else do I need to do? This code look through active complication data sparse array and get active complication data of type short text. The code pulls out the appropriate fields to make a one-line message. A complication data has a number of fields, but for us, we only want the short text and the short title if it's available. Okay, let's see how that looks. Okay, I'm going to deploy and then we'll actually read the code because it takes us a while to deploy. Deploy. And I'm going to actually read a little bit of this function that I just pasted in. So indeed, we loop through all the different complication IDs, and then we go ahead and grab the complication data that we stashed away in the sparse array. And if it is active and it's a type short text, then we get the short text and the short title. And then we are going to, I see. So this complication text method has a get text method that you can pass in the current time. Not sure what that does. So basically it says if we also have a subtext, then we concatenate that with the main text that we have computed. And then we are going to do some calculations to figure out where to draw this. And then if it's left, then draw it on the left. If it's right, draw it on the right. Well, figure out where to draw it and then actually draw it. Okay, let's scroll. Okay, and then we have a canvas and we draw the message at the position that we computed with the paint. Sweet. Alright, so graded bill finished. Switch back to the browser. Someone asked me, which smartphone do I use? What do you mean, for day-to-day or for this tutorial? Because right now on the tutorial, we are just using the emulator. My daily phone is a Moto X, in case you're wondering about that. Alright, so now we need to select the gear again. So I swipe here, swipe it back, click on the little gear, and then let's see. Choose a complication like the previous step, and then we should see it. Alright, let's do the right one just like in the demo. Android Wear date. Yay! We can see the date. Awesome! This is very exciting. I'm very excited because I want to put it on FitCat. In case you joined us later. So FitCat is this watch face that I made, which already displays the date, but it always displays the date on the right and always displays the battery status on the left. So what I want to do is to change that so that I can actually allow the user to choose either display nothing or display different data, or maybe display the same data but in a different position. So this API is going to be very cool. Alright, let's see. Summary. We have learned how to pull the important information out of complication data and then render it on the screen. So we're going to enable tapping on the complications. Let's see, some complications include tap actions that can launch the apps. This can be useful. So if you have the calendar app, you can use that to launch, like you can have the complication display the next event, and then when you tap, you can launch the calendar. So let's see, we need to check if the user has tapped the complication. So we're going to go to the watch face surface and then go to step 5 and then look at the on-tap command. The on-tap command method will be called whenever the user taps anywhere on the watch face. This is great, but we need to figure out if the user actually tapped a complication. So we're going to copy and paste this into the on-tap method. Step 5, on-tap method. Exactly. Paste it in. Oh, well, I guess I pasted too much stuff. Doesn't matter, it's just logging and to do. Alright. So get tapped complication ID is already given to us and it's going to check where it's tapped. Let's see what it's talking about. Okay, that makes sense. So basically in this function, what we're doing is that when someone taps, we're going to take the XY coordinate and use this magic function that's provided to us and figure out whether it is actually a tap that is at a particular complication. So I'm going to finish this tutorial first, and I'll probably take a look at this magic function because I do want to understand how that works, because I'll need that in my own app, in my own watch face. Alright, so triggering the pending intent. So on complication tab method, which we are calling here with the ID, we need to trigger the tab action. So let's see. So we'll copy this into the on complication tab. So I'm going to read this first because I'm really curious what it does. So what it does is it takes the ID and then retrieve the complication data from our sparse array. And if that data, well, it's not null, and it also specifies a get tab action, then we are going to send it. And then there's some error handling here. Great. I'm going to copy this whole thing and jump back to Android Studio and search for step 5 on complication tab exactly. So it needs to import the pending intent. Great. Okay. Now, oh, that's funny. I actually just read the code and explained that what it does, and it explained it to us too. Great job, you're done. Let's check out finished product. Great. Oh, thank you. Someone said I have to stream more. Well, we'll see. Right now is there is a lot of the collabs I do want to do, and I think it's a pretty good way to stream because I don't actually need to prepare too much because I plan to do it myself anyway. So doing it with that you can watch and ask me questions, that has been pretty nice. So yeah, I think this is the last step of the collab. Let me just go ahead and read the rest. And then it has some next step and learn more. So cool. So once that deployed, we're going to go ahead and try. What does it want me to try? So I need to launch a complication picker, which by now I know how to do. So I'm going to pick either step count or next event, and then I can tap on it. Cool. All right. So let's see. Okay, gradle wheel finished. So let's do this again. Swipe. Hello. Okay. Swipe, and I swipe back here. Click on the little gear. All right. Right dial. Enjoy where. So I think it's either next event or step count. So let's try step count. Zero steps, of course, because the emulator didn't walk anywhere. But if we click on it, then nothing happens except that the log says on tap command. Well, this is fabulous. Maybe it's because I don't have Google Fit installed. Let's try the other one. The next event one. I'll put it on the left because why not? I have two of them. Next event. Takes a little bit of time. Though, I mean, it's possible that it's empty too because I don't even know whether I have a calendar on this emulator. Okay, probably there's no calendar. And in fact, like Android Wear 2.0 is so new, I don't even know how I can check whether it has a calendar. I'm just randomly swiping. Okay. If I go to settings, can I see all my apps? No, it's just the normal settings. Apps! Ooh, apps. Scrolling on the emulator with my mouse is very hard. Apps. Okay, so I have the complication collab which I install, and then system apps. Okay. Mostly I'm just trying to double check that it actually has a thing that I can launch with. Calendar storage. Okay, this is a little bit pointless because I don't have the precision to find out. And also, now I don't know how to get out of here, which is very sad. Great. Okay, that was a silly idea. Sorry about that. I'm going to swipe randomly, and okay, I don't know how to get out of here. Let's go back to the tutorial instructions and read the next steps. Next steps. For more details, we can read this. We can also read more about just general, how to develop watch faces. Good. Learn more, and we can also watch some videos. Great. So, cool. I'm very happy that this worked out well. This is my first time streaming. Like I said, I do want to take a look at one of the functions here, which is how do we compute the XY coordinate. Okay, what happened here? Beach ball. Alright, so I'm going to search for XY. Yeah, here. I'm very curious how they actually compute that. So we take an XY coordinate and we go through all the complications, grab the complication data, and then make sure that it's configured and it's not empty. And then we figure out the bounding box, it seems, of the complication. So basically, if it's the left, then we compute the bounding box in a certain way, and then if it's the right, then we compute it the other way. I think this will probably be different depending on like how you're drawing this. Yeah, indeed. So like it depends on the text size. Cool. And then basically it's like, well, if the bounding box is valid and the XY point is inside the bounding box, then I'm going to return that. So this is in a loop and it repeats for all of the complications. And then if not, then we say -1, which means there is nothing there. Great, cool. So I'm going to just deploy this again, just so that I can get rid of the, yeah. I'm stuck basically on this screen. I need to learn how to get out of there without actually redeploying stuff. Cool. Let's see, deployed, build finished. Okay. I'm gonna change that back to the day just for fun. If it works. Okay, I don't like that my emulator is turning gray, so I'm not quite sure what happened. But anyway, I think that's all for today for the streaming. Thank you very much everyone for coming. If you like this, let me know. Let me just show you how you can get in touch with me. I assume all these streaming services actually have a particular way that you can leave messages and whatnot, but this is my first time doing it, so I'm not sure how to do that. So I'm going to direct everybody to Twitter, because that I check all the time. So if you like this, you want me to stream more, let me know. If there is a particular, I'll probably go through some other collabs. So if there's any particular one that you are interested in, I have certain ones that I'm interested in. I'll probably try the constraint layout. That's the one that I'm very interested in. I don't know, actually, you know what, we can also go through that. Let me just paste in the link for my Twitter account first. So if you want to tell me things, that's the best place to find me. And I will also announce my next streaming if I'm going to do that over on my Twitter. Cool, so I think I should be able to load the other collabs that are announced during Google I/O. So we can just kind of quickly take a look. I can show you the ones that I want to do. Right, so Google I/O. I don't know why it takes a long time to scroll even. Scroll. Alright, so there's actually a lot of them. I am mostly interested in Android Wear and Android itself. So if I click on Android Wear, so we just did this one, adding complications to your Android Wear watch face. And this one is sounds like just generally creating a watch face, which I already know how to do, so probably won't do that. And then another one is exposing data, so it's the opposite side. So I'm receiving data right now on this particular tutorial. The other one is how do you push that to other watch faces. I don't have anything to expose, so I probably won't do that. Let's look at the Android ones. Okay, so single sign on quick settings testing. I actually have done the testing one. I've also done the automated performance one, so I won't do that probably. Accessibility. Build applications for single-use devices. That's interesting. It's kiosk mode. I don't really need to do that in the near future, but good to keep in mind. Material design app with design support library. I have used different components of the design support library already, so probably not. Android N, beacons. Beacons could be interesting. I wonder how they're going to do that. Like, will I need to actually have a beacon because I don't have one? Removing dependency on background services. Not sure what that means. Smart lock. That could be interesting. Mobile checkout. Yay, constraint layout. That's the one that I really want to do. And there looks like that's a Russian one. I don't speak Russian, so I don't think I'll do Russian. So most likely, if I'm going to do another collab, it's going to be the constraint layout. There are other things that I could be doing as well, because I have a few open source projects that I need to update. So I may be doing that as well. So anyway, hopefully this works and everybody had a good time. And also, I hope that this is recorded. Like I said, I have never done this before, so hopefully this is recorded and people can watch it later. So thank you so much once again. This is my Twitter account, so my handle is Chiuki, Chiuki. If you want to get in touch, you're interested in me streaming other things, or if you're streaming something that's kind of similar to this and you think I'll be interested to watch, ping me on Twitter. I would love to